What's going on, folks? Welcome back once again to DDub. It's been a little bit. Haven't had a video on the channel in a little while. Kind of took a little bit of a break. I guess I just got kind of lazy. But I'm back with a new microphone. I got this here, the Blue Yeti. You know, a lot of people say stay away from it. Me, so far, I'm actually liking it. It's much better audio quality than the last microphone I had. So that thing got unplugged. And it's gone. Get out of here. Today on the channel, we're talking about the very wonderful PlayStation 1. It's my favorite console of all time. It was actually the first console that was mine. And this was back in probably 1997 or 98 when I actually got one. You know, growing up, we had the Nintendo, we had the Sega Genesis, we had the N64, and I always felt like those were kind of my brothers. It was kind of a shared thing. The N64, he sort of took over, but I remember opening that box Christmas morning, and we were like the Nintendo 64 kid, like, yes, oh my god, yes, yes, yes. But so years later, you know, after all that, I remember seeing the PlayStation 1, like the kiosk in the store, and that thing just looked so futuristic, so amazing, and I just absolutely wanted one. I remember in like first grade, I went over to one of my friend's house, and he had the PlayStation, and that was the first time I actually saw the thing running in somebody's house, and it just sort of blew my mind. Like, the thing had just come out, so this was probably 96 about the time he had it, and at that point he moved away for a little bit and then came back, and I didn't see him for, it seems like a while, but it was inside of a year. It was not even a full school year, so he was maybe gone for like 8 months or something like that, and then he came back to the neighborhood. So seeing that thing and walking in, and the first game that I ever actually saw or really remember playing on the thing was Jet Moto, and to this day that's still one of my favorite games of all time. Hashtag new Jet Moto. Whoever owns that IP, we got to get on it, because I miss that game very dearly. Then later down the line, one of my other friends, Nate, he had a PlayStation 1. I remember seeing Tekken and Crash Bandicoot and like NASCAR racing and all these other different games for it at the time. As with any other kid growing up in the neighborhood, you have different friends that are kind of into different things. So, you know, I didn't know exactly how expansive the library was, and just throughout all the years, it's just become like the golden age of the RPG. And so right in front of me here is my whole PlayStation disc collection, and so today I'm just going to go ahead and start kind of just showing it off and just going through every single thing that I have. You know, I'm still finding PlayStation games to this day. I still go to the local Goodwill store. I'm still finding them there for sometimes $1 or $2. So, you know, Colin McKay Rally. And one of the things that I miss the most, and they didn't really do this after, I mean, the PlayStation 2 still kind of did it, but one of the things that I love the most was, first off, just the disc art. Like, now they're just so plain with it. I mean, they don't really go out of their way to make the discs extra special. And of course behind the disc here, you know, just a shot of a car. But one of the things, like I'm saying, that I miss pretty much the most is the types of advertisements that they would have on the booklet. Just the different types of advertisements that they would actually have on the booklet, whether it was for more accessories for the system, like seeing the DualShock analog controller, the imitators are shaking in their pleather boots. And this is from 1999, so, you know, settling for anything less than real could be a bad idea. So get your hands on the official PlayStation branded DualShock controller. And, you know, whether it's the multi-tap or other games that were in the series or other games produced by the brand that put out the game, the booklets were always so cool, and they always had so many cool different little ads and stuff like that that just really, that were just really telling of the times. And even the PlayStation 2 had a little bit of that, but as time went on, they just kind of stopped doing that. And so, yeah, even just a couple years ago, I had a small retro store right down the road from me, or from where I live now, and unfortunately, they went out of business. But I'm still buying games for it. I've still always looked for games for it, and I still find them at the Goodwill store. I even have a couple sealed here that I'll go through. Some are missing the books. Even just a couple days ago, I saw the Tarzan, it was Tarzan Collector's version, and it came with another game. It didn't have the game in it. It was the case in the booklet, and I almost thought about just seeing if I could just get it for like $1 or something like that, just to have it, because the artwork for it and the booklet, you know, everything was intact but the disc, and I'm sure a game like that you could get the disc for very cheap. So, you know, I probably should have done that, but here we go. Jet Moto 2, one of my favorite games of all time. And these have all, aside from the case, you know, it's funny too, like seeing Cool Borders 2 and then having this game rental label from wherever the hell that's from. I'm sure some of you guys have seen similar things like that. You just kind of find it throughout the years. But, you know, cool art like that behind the disc. I mean, it's so rare now that you see, you open up a Nintendo Switch case and there's just nothing inside, you know, things like that. And you basically pay that extra premium now to get a collector's edition or a special edition that'll actually give you a manual, when it's something that back in the day was just given to you for just buying the game. You know, something like they're like Shipwreckers coming soon. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that game never actually came out, but some of these games are dogs, you know, very bad polygon type screenshots going on here. But so anyways, the point of this is to just go through and show my collection. You know, I pay like a couple dollars for some of these. Some of these are, you know, again, rentals. Some of them really didn't have a case. This one came with this, you know, kind of crappily printed book here. And, you know, I pretty much still have all my PlayStation games. Here's a classic that people still talk about. This is from when EA was still, you know, somewhat of a good company. And this was a game I remember buying like right after it had come out. So this is 1999. Good game right here. Fighting Force. Remember playing the demos to that. I also have some demo discs here that I'm gonna go over. And that was on a demo disc, and we used to play it all the time. And then it took me forever to actually end up getting the game. So let's see, even right here I'm going through WrestleMania, the arcade game, and Ready to Rumble boxing. I remember playing, I still have Ready to Rumble on my Nintendo 64. You know, this was a game here, my mom bought it off of one of her coworkers' kids or something like that. And I remember just playing it and actually enjoying it. And so even though a lot of these games aren't, you know, I got this game recently. Even though a lot of these games weren't mine growing up, the ones that were mine growing up, they're still in excellent condition. Like this. This was one from the Goodwill. It's got like nasty stuff all over it. But, you know, just look at the amount of detail. Like, putting graphics on the disc. And, I mean, they still do that. But it just doesn't feel like they do it with as much love. Like, it's basically just the main logo or the thing that was, you know, basically on the front of the package. Soviet Strike. And this one here, at one point, some of these got wet. They were in my mom's garage. And somehow they got wet and they were sitting out there in the winter. And when she brought them to me, I had to go through all my PlayStation games. And meticulously for like 5 or 6 hours, I had to open all of them up, pull the booklet out, blow dry all of them, had all the fans going, took all the booklets out, all the discs out, and just had every single booklet and little back sleeve here and the disc just sprawled everywhere, just blowing, you know, hot and cold air, hot air on them. Just to dry them off because they got kind of, you know, Cool Borders. These games don't hold up as well as people remember them. But as I said, a lot of these games weren't mine growing up. And, you know, Battle to Shinden 2, I do have Battle to Shinden 1. But a lot of these, for what they are and for how long I've had them, since 90s and 2000s. I mean, even a game like this, I probably bought this in 2001 or 2 at like Walmart, and it would have been maybe like $7 or something like that. But so, you know, Kiss Pinball, I always enjoyed NASCAR Rumble. I wish it had been more like a Twisted Metal and I still hope we get another newer Twisted Metal. But games like this, you know, they didn't look that great, but they were a lot of fun. The music, the atmosphere, all these games were pretty great. I mean, not all of them, but even Team Rocket. This was at a local retro store that we had several years ago that basically took place of an old EB that had turned into a GameStop that had then turned into a retro store. And that thing was only around for a few years, and it had been forever since I had gone into a store and seen brand new Xbox controllers still in package. You could buy brand new 64 controllers. You could get all sorts of memory cards for, you know, Dreamcast and PS1 and PS2. See, even this, I'm not sure. I think this might be my original Tony Hawk. I have two. And one of them was my friend's, but you can see how the water just damaged them so much. End part 1. If you guys like what you're seeing, tune in tomorrow for part number 2. You didn't think I was going to let you off that easy, did you? Peace out.